Hello and welcome to this What to Do When video. Today we're going to be looking at Bulgarian split squats. So fantastic exercise, very good for quads, glute development, very good staple in a lot of leg exercises, leg programs. But what happens when your client is complaining of pain in the lower back, pump sensation in the lower back or a burning sensation, especially asymmetrically, so on one side more than the other? First we're going to look at this anatomically. What we have here is we have the pelvis and we have the femur here. So we're going to look at something called pelvic-femoral rhythm. So you might be familiar with scapulohumeral rhythm. Same principle, it's just how well the femur moves around in the pelvis. So when somebody's going to the bottom of the movement, we need this nice fluidity and we need the ability for the femur to be going internally and externally. So we need internal, external rotation when we're getting into that 90 degrees motion. And what can happen is just to, for a number of reasons, people may not have that equally in both sides. This could be to changes from age, it can be through injury, it could be even a genetic morphology they didn't even know they had. So a change in the femur head or position and the angle of inclination. So there's lots of reasons, but what we want to look at is something you can do on the gym floor there and then to either find the answer, to see whether it's worth changing the exercise altogether because they're not suited for it, or at least providing something that they can do beforehand which will improve the exercise and make it a little bit better for them. So it's very simple. What you do as both a screening and a test is you're going to go down into a kneeling position and we're simply going to replicate the bottom of the position. So we have hip flexion here and we're going to be looking at this left foot. Sorry, this left side and the left hip. And the way we do this is we just then need to explore what range of motion this hip has in different ranges. So we can open up the hip and see what it's like rotating in that direction, exploring how much external rotation we have and how much it impacts the front of the hip. And then we can go the opposite way and look at its ability to internally rotate and so forth. You can shift backwards, you can shift forwards, or you can do circumduction, which is just basically doing circles with the hip like so. So the way you'd cue this is weight over your right knee, weight equally over your left, so we're in the center point, and you're just going to do circles in one direction, circles in the other, rotate, and just see how that feels. So in my sense here, in my case, if I push through here, I have a big build up and restriction in the anterior part of the hip. Then you do the opposite side, so we're going to go onto this side and do the same. Go backwards, go forwards, go to the side, do circles, and the freedom of range of motion in my right is a lot greater. So this feels very smooth, that feels quite restricted. Therefore, if I'm trying to get into that bottom position, and I'm restricted in my left, I may need to create some form of pelvic torsion, so kick my hips, either rotate them, side bend them, in order to accommodate for that. That side bending motion and rotation is what irritates the structures in the lower back. So very simple, the screening for this one is going to become your exercise. If you find a restriction, just work through it. You might do 60 seconds of just slow articulations. You could even add some resistance with a band or a cable just to get some more muscle activation working through there. But what you'll find is by identifying it, you'll know whether you can improve it by doing this exercise or whether you need to remove it because the restriction is so much that it's going to irritate the back more than actually targeting the legs.